Hello and welcome to Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. If you like this video, please push like and share with your family, friends, enemies, neighbors, the whole world, etc. Beautiful day here, Northwest Arkansas. I thought I'd sit outside in the porch in the rocking chair, tell a story. And this one has to do with why I quit my job as a suicide watch companion. Suicide watch is what it's called. So let me break it down. Inside Butner FMC, they have what's called an inmate companion program. Now that can mean taking care of people that are sick, pushing people to their appointments in the wheelchairs, changing diapers. I actually did that in 2007 with Jojo Russo. I wasn't technically an inmate companion. They wouldn't let me, but I did. I was Jojo Russo's inmate companion. For those of you who don't know, I'm talking about Jojo Russo, former captain of the Colombo crime family. But it's a tough job for sure. Anyway, when I went back to prison on a violation for supervised release, violation of my supervised release based on substance abuse, I decided I was going to do something different this time. I wasn't asking from outside sources for money. I had planned on getting a job. YouTube money I made, that actually helped me. So anyway, but before, for sure, family members, that extends to everybody sent me money. Some friends did periodically, plus I wrote for Vice and The Fix, and I got money that way in the last 10 years of my incarceration on the life sentence. But in general, you know, the prison jobs I've had haven't been much. Well, when I went to the Washington County Detention Center in February of last year, I was in an altercation with staff, and I hurt my meniscus, my knees blowed out, and then later on I got into it when I was being transported from Washington County Detention Center to Cimarron or Core Civic. There was a near accident, and we weren't seatbelt in, and then I hurt my shoulder too. So I really suffered with those two injuries the whole time I'm down. I'm still today. Good days and bad, whatever. But I was conscious of the fact that I really couldn't do much. So as far as being an orderly in the unit, which I was, but I was a supervisor, I just told people what to do. Basically, I didn't mean tell them like a boss, but you know, hey, I took out the trash. I took out the trash sometimes. But basically, I was in charge of a couple other guys. That's not how it worked with staff, but I was in charge of a couple guys. That's basically what it was. But somebody told me that the suicide watch job was open, and that falls in line with the inmate companion program. It's to be put on suicide watch, to work as a suicide watch companion. You have to go through a 3-hour training course, and that basically tells you how to do the logins properly. The log that you write is an official federal document, so it's got to be, you know, done well. Plus, I will tell you this: people who do suicide watch, if you're trying to like do good in prison and get out early, or if you're trying to pad your resume in prison and show all the programs you did, there's nothing better than the inmate companion program or the suicide watch. Why? That actually helps the BOP fulfill their mission statement. Go ahead, you guys, add the jokes here. Rat, working for the cops, you are a cop. Go ahead, right there. But what I'm saying is it does help fulfill the BOP's mission statement, which is the safe, orderly running in the facility. You are actually watching an inmate when you're on as suicide watch. This person either tried to kill himself, or was wanting to kill himself, and you have to watch him for 4 hours. You sit there and stare at him. I don't care if he goes to the bathroom. I don't care what he does. You're watching, and you got to document every little thing. That's what the training program's about. So one of my friends tells me to talks me into doing it. It's $41 a month. That's without even going. So it was $41 I got paid, except if I worked, then I got paid more. I think there was like $70 one month. And again, just sitting down. So my first day on the job, there was what I was told was a transvestite. I never saw the bottom half, but I was told that. And this person was batshit crazy. All I can hear is crazy laughing. when I walk in, like, ha, like the mad hat, like mad people laughing. And then when I walked up and looked at the person, it was having conversations with multiple people in its head. But he talked in a child's voice, little boy, little girl. I'm going to tell you, sometimes talking as a little girl and then started masturbating. Real weird. It did. Never even turned around and looked at me. They can see me. They can see me sitting on the other side of glass. Never acknowledged me. Masturbated. Put his fingers in his butt. Smelled them. And then licked them. That was my first day on the job. First day on the job. And I documented all this. Placing fingers in anus. I don't know what I did. But it was wild. And then I came home and I told guys that had been there a long time about what happened. First of all, right off the rip, that some of them thought I was lying because they'd never experienced something like that. I'm like, I'm telling you just what happened. That's what happened. And then they have to experience too. And then they understood what I was talking about. Well, this person apparently said he was going to kill himself. I don't think he tried. But let me back up now. My first day on the job, the suicide watch is set up in the mental health unit. So it's called actually 1E is the block. And I don't know how many blocks are down on the mental health. At FMC Butner, you have a prison hospital with a cadre unit that's adjacent to the main central building. And then in the building, away from the general population guys, you have mental health down here. I believe there's a couple units. I think there's first and second floor, but there's multiple units within those floors. Where I worked in the suicide watch was in 1E. As soon as I walk in through the double doors, I got to sign in. Some black guy, cop, big guy, older, well, my age, whatever. I'm 55, probably a little younger, says, "Hey, don't you be talking to that cop. Don't you be talking to the dude. Don't say nothing to him. You understand me?" It was like a real asshole. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I right there, boom. Okay. His name's Foster. C.O. Foster. African-American male. Works at Butner FMC right now. Okay. So, that day, I don't believe that day. What I noticed the first day is this. Every time that COs did their rounds, CO Foster, so, I'm sorry, let me back up. Inside this unit is the hole for the guys in mental health. 1E is actually the segregation unit for the nutcases. So the nutcases have general population units. The guy that are civilly committed mental health, not sex offenders, civilly committed or are going through the process before court where you have to go decide if you're competent, all those guys are there. A lot of them are there. The worst of the worst are there. Well, imagine the guys that got in trouble that are so bad they can't be in jail, the population. They put them in segregation units. They're by themselves in cells with cameras in them. That's where I was. Every hour, the officers are required to do a round. And they have a control booth with a staff member who sits inside there and watches all the inmates in their cells. Every hour that Foster was, for the 4 hours I was there, every time he did a round, he fucked with the inmates. Not all of them, many of them. Now, let me say this in his defense. It would take a toll on me working in that unit and having guys call him the N-word because he's black. All day long, there's one guy that would say that. Who, there was one guy that Trump was going to kill his whole family, so he needed out immediately, panicking. They put up with a lot. Those cops put up with a lot. So I'm going to defend him here. However, that's what they signed up for. And he keeps going back to that unit. He's the big dog in that unit. So if he is going to work in that unit, then he needs to learn how to deal better with inmates. And this is what I'm going to say. SORT team, Special Operations Resort Task Force or something like that. That's when they dress up as Ninja Turtles and they roll in on guys. Well, it was the first day I was there, actually. I seen Foster go, fucked a couple people, then he came back. This one guy was not taking his medication, okay? So were court-ordered. They're court-ordered to give these guys medication. These guys are refusing. They're going to gaffle them up. They're going to go in, run them, handcuff them, put them in a wheelchair, and give them a shot, whatever they need, Thorazine, whatever. Well, Foster was talking shit to this one guy and telling me he was going to take his medication today, and this guy was saying he wouldn't call the SORT team, rah, rah, rah. Well, sure enough, they assembled I think it was a 5-man sort team or 6. I think it's 5. It's 5. And when they assembled the team, then the captain comes in. Deutsch, I think is, how do you say the name right? I'll talk about you in future videos, so we'll leave you out of this one for now. I will say that Captain Deutsch, I have witnessed him in the situation what I'm talking about. That is cell extractions of mentally ill inmates for the purpose of giving them their medication. Okay? I seen him try everything in the book to get this one guy to please take his medication before he ordered, the captain had to make the call, before he ordered the sort team. And he did a very good job. I'll give him that on this instant. We'll get to some other stuff about the captain in future videos. Deutsch, I hope I'm saying it right. I wanted to be respectful in that manner before I dog you. Anyway, so Foster antagonized this guy and like made him lose his mind before the sort team got in. Meanwhile, the guys are dressing up. They're putting on their Ninja Turtle suits. And as somebody who has fought the sort team for rec before, that means for fun, when I was in the SHU, getting drunk and fighting the sort team, it's good stuff. It was good stuff. Although I got hurt, but anyway. I watched the sort team happen, and this is what happened. They go in, the guy doesn't resist. I don't think they just sprayed this one with spray. I don't think they did this time. I don't think they hit him with rubber bullets either on this particular one. I've seen 4 of them. I'm gonna get to them. But they go get the guy out, they take him out, and I'm half-ass laughing, okay? Not at the fact that the inmate, they went in there and took the inmate down and then he wasn't even trying to resist and all that. It was more reminiscing about the sort team. So I was anxious to watch. It was like gonna be cool to see this happen. The inmate always gets fucked up, okay? That's not cool, but it's true 9 times out of 10. You know, just the whole action. It's cool, it's fun to watch. Imagine, a lot of you guys would wanna see this in real time, right? I'm no different. That was the first one. I think it was that Friday I came back to watch the same sick fucker. On my suicide companion job, the same sick guy that was masturbating and doing all the gross shit. And they had to run another sort team. And again, it was for the same thing. It was because these guys are nutcases. One of these guys, for example, was drawing phones, iPhones, and drawing, and then he would pretend to be talking on them and taking pictures, and he was like serious. The funniest one though, the funniest mental health guy was the one that said that Trump just got elected and he needed to go protect his family. He had to get out. That was great. But I start noticing a pattern. Every time I go in, there's Foster antagonizing the inmates. There's Foster antagonizing the guy that's really going to get his medication. I mean, really going to get the sort team to roll in on him if he doesn't take his medication. Now, Foster, I have witnessed him say, come on, man, just take your medication. But most time, don't take your medication, punk. See what it is. Fuck you, you know, just totally disrespectful. I then, once again, here they come. Boom, captain comes in. Deutsch tries to do his job. Giving you your props there, bro. Tries to do his job, can't do it. He orders a sort team. Here comes the guys. I think on this one they unloaded some bullets. They shot a couple, or they've maced one, different stuff. Now, on the second time that happened, what I noticed was I looked at the actual inmate when they take them out and they put them in wheelchairs. They take them, they either hog tie them. In this case, in these cases, they didn't hog tie them. They put them in the wheelchair, and they strap them to them, I believe. In the past, I'd see them hog tie guys. They actually have the 5 guys that go in. The first one, I think, grabs the right wrist. The second one, the left wrist. That's their job. That's how the lead man goes for a wrist. That's his job. But these guys weren't really resisting. They were just getting taken down, in my opinion, for no reason. And afterwards, I would see the sort team high-five each other. And I'm like, these dudes didn't have no rec. These guys I'm talking about the cops, they're not about shit. They're high-fiving each other for taking down somebody who didn't fight back. And it annoyed me. Some time went by, that one guy gets out, another crazy guy goes in. And again, there was a guy, Foster warned me not to be talking to him and this and that. And there, I can't help but focus on Foster. There he goes, doing his rounds, talking all his bullshit to everybody. I've seen him kick and pound on doors. Okay, now, I can understand in his defense, maybe the guy, he looked like he was sleeping, unresponsive or something, he wanted to see. But he goes further than that. And he antagonizes them. He antagonizes those guys and then gets them all riled up and they start yelling and screaming. And then in some cases, or one case, I saw the SORT team comes after Foster started it. So, third time I see it, I really don't even want to watch now. The only thing I want to see is the guy that they got out of the cell. And again, it's some little nothing that they could have just, one person could have opened the door and grabbed him by the shirt. You're not supposed to do that. It's against the law. What they're doing is procedure by having a SORT team come. But in retrospect, I look at it, they know who can hurt. I mean, yeah, some people have, some of these nutcases have what we call bug strength. It means they have these some kind of superpowers when they're on nut meds or when they nut up, whatever. And I watched the inmate and it was so sad to see, like, this dude that really can't ever hurt anybody just getting gaffled up the way they gaffled him up. Again, do you SORT team guys? I know you have a job to do. That's just my perspective, okay? You guys got a hard job to do, I get it. So, here comes the final straw. And I did an auto recording. If you guys never heard that audio recording, go back, and I forgot the title. It's something about quitting a job in prison. So here's what happens. I was called in like 2 or 3 times and it was my day off. They have 5 fill-ins. So if I have to work like Monday and Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., there's 5 guys under me. So if I can't work, this guy works, this guy. Well, I wasn't even on this schedule and they called me in. I told them I wasn't going in. They tell me that if I don't go in, I'm going to get a shot, meaning a write-up. My halfway house is in. That's not what I wanted. I went in. I'm sorry. Let me back up just 1 second. This wasn't the final time. This was on the Monday before I quit. I think I quit on a Friday. But it was Foster that said it. He would give me a shot, a write-up if I didn't come in. It was like a direct order through the phone to another officer. The same thing happens on Friday, but this time I tell him I'm not going to go to work because I wasn't feeling well. I think it was in between getting shots and I started feeling like that dope sickness, whatever. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. You cannot, if you don't want to work that day, you can just tell them I don't want to work. That's how I was told. Well, I didn't want to work. Again, here comes this rookie cop and he's like, you got to go to work. I'm like, what do you mean? His Foster said you're going to go to the hole if you don't. I'm like, what? So now I go down there and I'm pissed. And I really go down there with the intention of talking shit to him. And I half-assed did. But he don't give a fuck. He's not that guy. He don't give a fuck. During that day, there was a guy right in front of where the camera room is. So it's a square. Actually, it's not a square. It's more of a triangle. But when I'm watching the inmates that I'm supposed to be watching, if I look to my left, I can see where the control booth is, where an officer is supposed to sit and watch the cameras that monitor inside the prisons, the inmate cells. By the way, most of the time, 75%, you guys were asleep. 75% you guys are asleep. Yeah, I'm tattling. I'm snitching you guys out. Go back, rewind the cameras. They were sleeping. They weren't watching. 75% of the time. How you like them now, Butner correctional officers? Anyway, so there was a guy, and he was a shit talker, this inmate. And Foster came to the door, and they have words, and Foster's just telling him, I can't wait till you get SORT team comes, talk all your shit now, blah, 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 blah. I thought this guy was going to rock and roll. I couldn't see how big or little he was. Ended up being a pretty little guy. I thought this dude was gonna just do some kung fu fighting with these dudes. And I really want to see this because this guy had a mouthpiece on him. Here comes the SORT team. They did rounds on this dude. They hit him with bullets, rubber bullets. I guess they're rubber. I didn't see them. But they actually opened up on him. And he's screaming. I don't know if they aimed to hit or not. I don't know. That you'd have to ask the correctional officer about that. And when the guy was pulled out, they started a group of I don't know if everyone did this high five and bullshit. And I actually got off my stool and was reaching for the door to open to say, you guys are fucking punks. I swear to God, I was gonna go smooth off on them. And there was a guy that was from SIS that was there. I think I might have, when they opened the door, if you weren't there, because I liked this guy. He was actually a nice guy. He has a tattoo on his arm that I remember well, and I didn't talk about with him. But anyway, so, and we never had conversations outside of it. But I'm just saying, I remembered him from Butner way back in the day when he first started. And then now he's SIS, which is the Institution of Gestapo. But I remember seeing him, and I was so mad that I like wanted to put hands on one of the COs about it. There was one in particular that was really like high five, like rah, rah, like he just went and like invaded Iraq or something, you know? And I was like, you bitch, you just took some fucking little mental health patient out. Like, you fucking cunt. That's what I wanted to say. At that point, I knew when I had those feelings and those urges, even battered and bruised up as I am with my knee and my shoulder, I honestly felt like I can attack one of those correctional officers, and I honestly felt like I was going to attack Foster if he said something to me when I left that was out of the order. I swear to God. And I'm not here, guys from Butner, COs, and trying to say, well, raw, I was going to do this, that. I'm telling you how I felt that day. Like, it was really a crazy ass situation. And many of you correctional officers do know that something happened with me 2 weeks before I went home. And some of you know how severe it was and could have been. But I lost, something happened in me, and I just saw the sickness of it and the whole totality of the situation. Foster comes in, antagonizes inmates, get them all going, they go crazy, and then the doctors come in and put them on crazy meds. How many of those guys are in there on fucking whacked out meds they don't need to be on and are court ordered to be on them because somebody antagonizes them? They don't see that officer antagonizing them, then they lose their fucking mind, and then they get medicated, and no wonder they don't want to be on the medication. That's crossed my mind. I don't have any proof of that, but I'm telling you, that dude Foster is down there harassing inmates. And I hope somebody, after seeing this video, I wish the director of the Bureau of Prison will see this video. His name is Foster, and he's there, and he's a piece of scumbag shit. And somebody needs to do something about him. And I'm not the only one complaining. Multiple complaints. He don't give a fuck. Those correctional officers are hard to fire. Hard to fire. Maybe we need to get Elon in there. Maybe we need to get Doge up in that bitch. But it was enough. Look at how the emotional state I'm in right now, just talking about it. It was terrible, man. That dude's terrible. Terrible. He's going to rot in hell. For sure, that dude's going to hell if there's heaven or hell. You can't, I don't care if he tries to repent now. He's done too much. Done too much, man. But that's why I quit. That's why I quit, because I felt like I can actually do something to a correctional officer, which is fucking crazy, which is the stupidest thing you can ever do. And those ones at Butner, man, most of those COs are cool fucking dudes, for real. So it just, to get in that mentality, you know, it was too much, and I quit. But right now, inside of Butner FMC, there are hundreds, if not, there's hundreds of mentally ill inmates who are being either held there without a court date indefinitely until they can get better, so they can go to court. They try to get them ready to go to court. There's been guys that are 11 years, 15 years that are mentally ill. And the officers that work around them need to be better trained. And I understand that they're having a big shortage problem in the BOP, and I'm sympathetic towards that. But when you go there, know what you're signing up for. Try to treat the inmates as well as you can. I know it's difficult in that situation. I know. I heard some of those guys shit talking too, and I really wanted to go in there and help you guys deal with the problem. There's a couple of them that was all day, every day, saying the N-word to you guys that are black. That's just, I mean, I'm sure that doesn't really, but who knows? Who knows? Anyway, that's what happened, and I just wanted to go ahead and do this video today. Take care.